This is episode 8, Restore Your Faith. Stay tuned to catch this.
Hey everybody, this is the Redefining You Podcast. This is a safe space where we are intentional about inspiring and encouraging others to redefine themselves. We are on episode 8, Restore Your Faith, ladies and gents, and this one is good. You're taking care of you, right? You're in this healing journey right now. Hopefully for the last about 10 days or so, you've been taking care of yourself and implementing or enhancing your self-care routine. And so now is the point where it's time to get that spiritual alignment because your soul is craving more. The soul wants to be deeper, and that is the place where the spiritual and the self must meet. So you're taking care of you. Now let's get the soul in alignment. Let's get the spirit part in alignment so your soul can be whole.
Right. Absolutely.
So we're talking about restoring your faith this episode. So I always have a question. All right. So my one question is, what is faith to you? How do you define faith?
That's a good question. You like to catch me off guard.
I do, because your answers are so much better when you're off guard.
So for me, without the actual definition, for me, having faith ultimately goes back to my believer, my creator, and that's God for me, Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian. So therefore, having faith means believing in something I cannot, believing in God for things, for actions, for him to carry whatever I can't see, the unknown. So for me, it's walking by faith, I guess I should say, more than anything. It's, even though I don't know how this is about to play out, but because I know who he is and I know his character and I know who he's created me to be, I trust that, not even just trust, I know what the Bible says of what he wants for me, which is abundance. And I know the plans he has for me is past my understanding. So even in my wants, which may not be his will, or even in my wants that I think is so great for me, I'm trusting that what he says, because he knows me better than I know me, he's going to carry out whatever that thing is. Or so it's basically me believing in God for whatever that thing or situation or whatever is, without me even knowing. I believe in him more than I believe in me.
Yeah. So it's a deep belief in your higher power.
Absolutely.
A deep trust as well, like a deep trust and belief. Okay, awesome. So for me, what faith is to me, very similar. Faith to me is the partnership between God and myself, right? So it's that moment, like I said, it's very intentional, the order of our episodes for the Redefining You podcast, right? Because when I got to love me and get to know me, and I was able to clearly identify myself and love myself, then it was a deeper love that came from God, right? Which helped me now rest and assured that I can experience this agape love. I can experience this deep, highest form of love by one, taking care of me and loving me, and then partnering with God and knowing for sure and believing for sure and trusting for sure that he loves me too. And that he is going to, like you said, provide all of my needs, right? And so faith for me is that partnership between what I believe in myself and what I believe God for. And then the partnership is the key, because that means that I am I going to have to attach? I'm going to have to attach myself and my will and my works that I do to what God's will is for me.
Right.
Even with the unknown, the unseen ahead of me, because it's like, that's where the trust part kick in. Cause it's like, I can't see, I can only see and work to this point. And then it's like, what is the rest of this here? And that's where you just have to trust and believe, like, he loves me so that abundance is mine, prosperity is mine, that healing is mine,
right.
And so that's what faith means to me. It is a very high level of belief in oneself and to God, and allowing him to work together with God, allowing us to partner and work together with God, and allowing him to move at a supernatural, divine way in our lives.
Right.
And so I just operate in that space. Like, I try to do any and everything. I think in last episode, you said it best. You said, I don't move without God's say in something and without his divine instructions. Right. And that is faith. Just in general, that is what faith looks like. It literally means you can pray about any and everything. And that is what increases your faith. It humbles you to know that I have to come to someone else higher than me in order to ask to receive. And the word says you will receive for what you ask for. He gives you the desires of your heart. Just gotta ask.
It gets rid of believing that everything is done through you. You get rid of the self-control, or you get rid of the control that you are that control you have, and it allows you to develop self-control. You get rid of pride, you get rid of ego, you get rid of all these things that you believe that you have created, because you can only carry you but so far. And so getting to this level of being able to move without hearing from God, it's a level that it takes time to get to. However, that's just how I live. And it's a trust, and it's a belief, and it's also off of experience, watching what God has done in my life.
Oh, that's what I wanted to tap into. That's so good. Tap in, right?
Yeah.
That's so good, because I wanted to say that earlier in response to what you said, what faith means to you. And that trust is really built by, if we really pay attention, life happens in full circles, right? We always hear the saying, society and culture tells us history repeats itself, right? But really, our God operates in full circles.
He does.
He has a beautiful way of reminding us of something that he's done in the past. And then God is very funny to me, right? Because then he'll come back and bless us the same way, just for that extra reminder of like, all I need you to do is have faith. I couldn't move until your faith and your works matched and came into partnership with my will. So now I have the opportunity to move things and shift things in your life the way that I needed to, but I needed that faith part. Faith is one of the first things that waver in a person.
Right, because you start doubting and all these different things. Like, I wanted to tell you, I love that you said partnership. I absolutely love that, because it is a partnership. Because sometimes God won't move until he sees that you're like, okay, I don't know.
That's exactly.
But I'm gonna take a step in this. Like, I don't know how the business is about to go, but I'm gonna go ahead and start buying these things as if the business is flourishing.
Absolutely.
And then from there, he's like, oh, you trust me? All right.
There you go.
Let me bless you.
I'm gonna muster the courage to do the research to see what articles and items I need to apply for this loan. And then I'm gonna take a leap of faith and go out and apply for it, right? That is exactly, it is in full partnership. And it's literally having the moment to step back and say, okay, Lord, I can't get approved for this home loan on my own.
No.
So I'm coming to you because these are the things that my heart desire. I want a 5-bedroom house and 3 baths, and you go through this list of things and you pray and you ask and you just say, Lord, if this is your will for my life, then make a way. Like, only you can make a way. And you give it over. You give it over to just blind faith.
Oh, you gotta release.
You release it over in blind faith that I believe, because they say in the word that the man is the plan, is you have to put the plan in place, but God orders the steps. And it's like, but that is where that partnership has to happen. Somewhere in that preparation part, you've got to come in partnership with him, and you've got to humble yourself. You've got to be disciplined, to steward over, like we talked about in the self-care episode last. If you didn't see episode 7, go back and watch episode 7, right? But you're doing that preparation work, right? Mm-hmm. Because who is God to bless you? God don't bless no mess. If you have what you have now and you're asking for more, but you're not operating in a space to receive more, he's not going, that extra blessing would be a burden to you. It would become a mess.
It would.
He wants to see us moving these pieces together. He wants to see us. That's what I said. It's the partnership of self with God. Right. The belief in self. I believe that I can do more. I believe that I can increase my self-care routine and add 5 days of a 5 a.m. wake up, because I know that this increases my faith and allows God to move freely now and do the work behind, with the work with me in partnership. And now I get to see this level of elevation. Yeah. I get to see my family flourish. I get to cover and protect my king. And it's just like, and the beautiful emotional, physical, mental stability that comes with that. Right. Because that spiritual alignment where we talked about the soul is the spirit and the self, that comes into perfect alignment. It comes into harmony. It comes into balance with one another. Right. That wholeness. Right. That contentness. And yeah, I'm just curious to know that. Like, why is faith the first thing that wavers?
Because we look at what we see, and faith is what we can't see.
Ooh, that's good.
People want something tangible they can touch, hold. Okay, think about this. Like, yes, we are a world of buying online now and all these different things. And okay, cool. Right. But when you go to the store and you hand over your money, you expect to have that thing that you can touch, feel, all these different things, right?
Absolutely.
People trust in what they see. Why do we have reviews? We trust in what somebody else said.
That's good.
We'll trust in what somebody else said over what God says.
That part.
He said, count it all joy. He said, I got you. He said, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. So don't you, Jeremiah 29:11?
Yeah.
I know the plans I have for you.
That part.
There's a suggestion. It's a commandment. I know I have made this great life for you. And we always say it. You can limp into the promised land or you can walk into the promised land. And a lot of times we go left, right. I love this. Leah's, I can't think of her name, Kelly said this. She said, you can go left, you can go right, you can do all these different things, but that one thing that's calling you is going to keep calling you until you answer it.
Absolutely. And it's like the full circle moment. It's you going to keep in the cycle until it breaks, because it's like he's going to keep reminding you, because he offers you full abundance. And he's like, I just need you to get it.
That's it.
I just need you to get in partnership with me, because I'm revealing it to you. You're just blocking it.
Or we're not present enough to see that he is revealing it, which means we don't spend enough time with him to realize when he's speaking and telling us things. You have to be present with God to know who he is, know his character, and how he speaks to you. Yes. He speaks to us in different ways,
all
right?
Different ways.
So if you don't know how he speaks to you, then you don't know when he's answering you. You're like, God, give me an answer, because we're walking by faith. But as you're walking by faith, he's leaving nuggets all day, every day to tell you where you're supposed to be going.
Absolutely.
But if you don't know what he sounds like or what it looks like when he's talking to you, then you have no clue that he's answering you.
Yeah.
So you're looking for something, and then you're like, oh, faith doesn't work. God doesn't work. No, you don't work.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's just what it is.
It's the truth, though. And sometimes the truth is hard to hear, because that is 100% the truth. Like, this is why faith wavers. And it's just like you said, we are looking for the tangible, but we serve a higher power. We serve a God. We serve a spirit. We serve a being, right? And it's like, that's where that supernatural comes in. And like, they know me. I'm the best friend that is always like, y'all, we got to have supernatural faith. Like, I love y'all faith, because faith is going to help us believe for this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, right? But I need you to attach your faith with me. I need you to come into partnership, one with yourself and God. Then I need you to add to the many, right? Because when 2 or 3 come together, then I need you to add, I'm going to partner my faith with your faith. And we're going to get some supernatural faith here to believe that it's going to be a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. And people look at me like I'm crazy, y'all. I'm talking like not just my friends get this speech, y'all. My clients get this speech. And sometimes they look at me like, okay. And I tell people flat out, I am a faith-based realtor. Like, you automatically know it. And I don't mean to offend or anything. It's just you get to choose who you want to work with. We all have choices, right? But I'm a faith-based realtor. Why? Because if you come to me to buy a house or sell a house, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is write the vision and make it plain.
That's it.
Send me that so that I can attach my faith to it, because I don't know where your faith is, right? But I want to attach my supernatural faith to it to carry this out for you. I want to get God in partnership with us so that we can see this to the end. Because my job ain't complete unless my clients are happy and their dreams are fulfilled, right? And I know who I serve. I know the fulfiller of the dreams. I know where it comes from. So I go to the source every time.
Right.
And
like you said, but that's knowing, once again, getting rid of that control, and also getting rid of the expectations on you.
Correct.
That what you're saying is, now I know I'm good.
Yeah.
But there's somebody that's better than me. And that's just in general with us.
Yeah.
I know I'm good. I know the gifts you've given me. I know the talents you've given me. However, there's another level I can get to with you.
There you go.
So there's that partnership again.
Yeah.
But you let that be known. Like, hey,
from the beginning,
if you partner with me, when we partner together, we can do some things. And I've seen the miracles. I've seen what's happened.
I have handed over miraculous keys from partnering with God Almighty, and just being able to say, I can't, as a realtor and in human form, I can encourage you and inspire you along the journey. But at some point, a lot of my clients have to go into that self-preservation mode. They have to realize, hold on, I got to check myself and I got to get myself together because I hear this woman telling me all day long to believe in something. And then I have to say, well, what are you believing for? Where is your faith? In other words, and it's words, because I kind of, am going against culture with things, because it's like we've learned to twist words and take words out of context kind of deal. But like, that's what that is. That's faith. When I have to say, where's your self-preservation, your self-encouragement into yourself? Where's the belief in you?
Right.
Where's the belief that you deserve this?
Yeah.
And then have you gone to the person who created you to see if this is what he has for you? Right. Kind of deal. And so faith is it's all encompassing the whole reason for our existence. Because if we don't have faith into anything, we perish. Right. There's no purpose for us. Faith is the fuel behind purpose and passion.
Right.
You gotta have faith first, passion, because passion fuels purpose. And it's the same thing. Faith plus works equals will. So faith is the fuel behind it all. It's the foundational place. That's why they say this is where, Jesus said that he builds his rock of his church. Faith is the pillar of foundation for ourselves. It's the complete belief. And maybe you're not at a place to make a commitment into your spirituality or anything like that. But I just encourage you, like, if you're questioning, like, what do I have to do to become a Christian? What do I have to do to be saved? We'd be amazed, because we grew up in the church, right?
Right.
We grew up in the church, so it wasn't a fear place for us.
Yeah.
But we'd be amazed how many people fear because of what religion has said that faith is and belief in God is, right? But I'm here to tell you today, like, if you desire to be saved and have a relationship with God, there is nothing really that you have to do differently than what you already do.
Yeah.
There's nothing really. There's one thing. you recommit to Jesus, and you basically, you say with belief in your heart and the words from your lips that you believe that the Son of Man is Jesus Christ and he sits at the Father. You believe in his existence, and that will allow you to partner with the Almighty and allow him to help restore your faith and be able to move with you through life. He is a passionate God. He is a compassionate God. And we need the compassion because
forgiving
God knows. Merciful. That's why I said there's nothing you have to do. You can keep believe. You just believe. You can keep operating the way that you do. Eventually, yes, as grace and mercy that is there, right? There's a difference between grace and mercy. At some point, God is going to partner with you and be able to give you, reveal some things. That's what revelation is revealing. He'll reveal some things that can make you and him and y'all's partnership stronger. And then that's when your choice to operate in faith, humble yourselves to walk out and receive more in your life. But it's really just, what is the fear? What do I have to do to be saved? Recommit.
I want to add on top of that, because a lot of times some people have trouble with the belief, and I get it. Like, cultures come, the worlds come, and everything has shifted, changed, or whatever, right? But if you're journaling or started journaling and you go back, write these different things down of when things shouldn't have happened, but they did, good or bad, right? And really look at the whole situation. And if you really got the lesson out of it, whether good or bad,
right,
you'll see God in it. So God moves somewhere, whether you got a job that you weren't qualified to get on paper,
absolutely,
right? Or this person just happened to move from this house and we were looking for this house, but this house that person moved from, because they got military orders to move, just happened to leave at the right time when this is the house we were looking for, but we thought that one was it. It's the move of God every time. But you just can go back in your life and you can reflect and you can see where God moved every time.
Yeah.
And eventually you can't keep calling it a coincidence, because not that many coincidences keep happening over and over and over. God makes everything right in its perfect timing.
Absolutely.
And so just look back over your life. Those things that those older people used to say, they for real.
Oh,
look back over your life and see how many times that you've made it and you shouldn't have made it. Or you were saved and you shouldn't have been saved. Eventually, you have to get account to something greater than you. Because you knew it wasn't you. You knew it wasn't the person next to you. You knew there was something higher that created, that did this. And it's God. Right.
Oh, I'm going to flip the coin on that. That's so good.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good. I'm going to flip the coin on that one, right? Think about the failed relationship that you got into, but you met that person and people say something on the inside told me told me that he was toxic, or you know what I'm saying? Or I saw the red flag, but I ignored it. But then something on the inside of me still made it hard for me to ignore it. And then you end up in that failed relationship. Listen to me clearly. There's nothing on the inside that something told you. There is something that is talking to you, and it is God. It is the Holy Spirit that is trying to permeate and get into your soul, because it's dealing with self and it's trying to align spirit with it. And that is a gift from God to be able to come into alignment with that. It isn't just a something that told you. No, let's call it for what it is, right? Because life is so simple. We make it so hard. Life is a life of lessons and blessings.
Right.
And he wants to teach us these lessons. All he wants to do is bless us constantly.
Right.
But we have to learn lessons because we deviate off the plan ourselves, right? Because, and every single time, if you think about it, Brittany, right? Just like you said, going back through your journal. If you go back through your journal, especially those that have started the healing process, right?
Yeah.
Go back and read back through your journal. That reflection back in your journal is a big piece of your healing. Okay. It's very beneficial to do the reflection back into pull the old journals off the shelf, dust them off and read them, because it's going to show you that progression of where you started from and where you're going, and where you are now to where you're going, right? So when you do that reflection back, those moments happen where, like you said, we can read back and realize like, well, the lesson was right there in front of me. It was right there in front of me where God was clearly trying to get my attention to say that this isn't the right way to operate. Don't ignore this red flag. You know what I'm saying? But we deviate so far off of it because we lose sight of the partnership. Mm-hmm. We began to operate out of self. We always say, and I think we heard a sermon about it, it's like, there's 4 voices that we deal with every single day. Mm-hmm. We have the voice of ourselves. We have the voice of society and culture in our ears. Yeah. We have the voice of an enemy, and we have the voice of God. Mm-hmm. What is the best voice to listen to? Hands down, the voice of God. But he has 3 other
to compete with.
He is powerful. He is omniscient. He is omnipotent. He is almighty. And he will get through all of those. And it's so much easier for him to take your voice and his voice in alignment to go against every other voice.
Right.
And that's why even in past episodes, I've explained it. And I'm like, guys, I'm in this place right now. My eyes, I see with new eyes and I hear with new ears. And they're in a thing that culture can tell me to do. If culture says to do something, I immediately wake up at 5 a.m. to go into my prayer closet on it. Right. Because I'm like, if I know anything, my God is he operates backwards from what culture. Whatever the trend is, 9 times out of 10, God is like that. I want you to do the opposite.
Right.
And that's where whenever I make those movements to do it, my faith increases. Mm-hmm. Because now God is blessing me with more. Mm-hmm. And now my faith, I have the faith to believe for more, right, which helps me get to supernatural faith.
Right.
Where I'm believing outside of what the world can tell me to do. I'm believing in a supernatural realm of space. Like I'm tapping into the heavenly places. Like I know that a 5-bedroom, 3-bath is going to be out there at this price with this color. And the shutters are going to be this color. Like now I'm able to see it. I'm able to visualize this. I'm able to feel my presence walking through this home, right? I'm able to use my gifts and my talents and my abilities to partner with God in order to receive this blessing because I believe by faith that it will be given to me.
Yeah, you believing in him that you said, God, this is what you said I deserve. So I know it's going to happen. I'm going to take my stress out of this. Like having this type of faith takes stress. Like I don't even... The peace that I have, I just be do in the world because I'm like, God, if it's your will, it's your will.
It's going to be done.
Right. So what do I need to, like, my stress levels are like...
out the window, right?
No, because I know God will take care of me. I know God says this is for you and that's for you. I have come to give you life and give it to you more abundantly. You will not harm me. There's things all around me that's trying to harm me every day.
Yes.
I've seen you work in my life multiple times where I harmed myself.
Correct.
Through people, things, situations, and you pulled me out of it every time. That marriage I shouldn't have been in, that I don't know what I heard. I don't know what I heard, but it apparently wasn't you. But I got married, but even in that, you still blessed me. Even in the wrong thing, you still blessed me. And then when it was time to move, because it was about to be damaging for myself, where I wasn't going to walk into my calling and what you've called me to do, you're like, all right, daughter, it's time to go. However, I started spending just enough time with you. Just enough time with you to hear you.
Yes.
Hear your voice, because you gotta know his voice.
Yes.
And it may not be audible. It may come in different ways. So you have to figure out how he talks to you by spending time. I've said this multiple times. So what that means, just pay attention, okay?
Yeah.
When you get that, just enough time. There's enough time with him to understand and see how he operates in my life, that when you said move, I knew to move so that my calling could be fulfilled, and whoever's attached to my destiny, all of that could be a ripple effect. And Absolutely. From there, you saved my life.
Correct.
To be honest,
Yeah.
it saved my life multiple times from me just wanting to do what I wanted to do because I thought I was in control of it.
Absolutely.
So,
But we're sitting as living witnesses. Like, believe it, we are two divorcees that are sitting in front of you. And believe me, even on the journey, we heard horror stories of women and what the women going through a divorce were going through, the mental and emotional breakdowns to the children and their behaviors. And I just remember talking to you on the phone one day and I said, I think I heard that we have to pray for our children because we are healing, but there is effects on them through this divorce and we just need to cover them because we are blindly walking out of these marriages and have no idea where we're going to wind up. But
talk about faith.
Talk about faith. Talk about faith. That's a different level. That's not basic level faith. That was supernatural faith because we took the faith, the basic level faith said, okay, my marriage is over. I may need to move on. Right? But then we had to attach the supernatural faith and convince ourselves, first off, and then go into the spiritual part and believe to accept and say, God wants nothing but abundance for me. We're going to be all right.
We're going to be all right.
Okay, right? We're going to be okay when we walk out of this. And now we sit as two living witnesses to say, we walk in a life of freedom and abundance clearly. Yeah. We're examples of it. We're sitting in front of a camera in a studio to sit here and tell you, we are only here in front of you by faith.
I did not see this.
No.
2 years ago. I promise you I did not see this.
It's not about no mic.
I did not. But this is where faith gets you because God knows what he has planned for you.
There you go.
Like we have traveled around the world doing things that I never thought that I'd be doing. Like we were in the middle of, we don't even know where we were, but we were out in the ocean scuba diving or whatever we were doing. But we were living our best. Like I didn't see any of that when God said it's time to go. I was like,
where? Like immediately it was like, and me, the process person, how, when, where, why? Like I had 1,050,011 questions. And I just finally had to be like, listen, there is no questioning. This is where blind faith must activate blind faith because I heard what he said and I can't go back from what I heard.
But let's just remember our spirituality wasn't here either.
It was not here. It was not here.
I had just built a brand new house.
Okay.
You want me to do what?
That part. God told me to get out of the marriage because he wasn't my soulmate. What is that? Can we define? Listen, when my questions started, I was like, can you define a soulmate, Lord? Like, is there a definition? What should I be looking for?
But those answers came.
They came and they came clearly and abundantly because I was like, no. And what happened, it was so many people along the journey, the distractions come. This is why faith wavers, right? Because you're dealing with self-doubt, worry, anxiety, pressures of life, right? Remember those 4 voices? And when the other people come in just to throw you off course to be able to say, oh, so you're searching for a soulmate? Oh, that sounds like a miracle. I finally had to learn to say, well, I serve a miraculous God. AKA my faith is rooted in a supernatural space, and I am going to believe for this until I receive this.
Until I receive it.
And I won't settle for anything less. And I'm telling you, educated intellectuals were telling me, oh, that sounds like a miracle you waiting on. Well, you just wait on right along.
Well, I will.
I've been doing it. I'm fine doing it. I'm content doing it because I'm working on me in the meantime. And when I hit that stride of wholeness, I know it will come to me. Right?
Right.
And it literally, living witness, it happens.
Walk right on it.
Walk right.
Didn't even know it worked.
That's why I didn't even crawl into the promised land. Like I skipped it.
You were so content that you're like, you come from? Because I was just, okay.
Right.
Do the steady skipping. Hold on, wait a minute. That belongs to you. You steady skipping.
Oh, yeah. I didn't tell me to turn around and go.
Wait, go collect those coins.
But Mario, you done ran off the course of the whole game. Right?
Oh, man.
And we're laughing and we're joking about it, but it's so true. Like, it's just, and I can honestly say I am grateful. I am thankful. Mm-hmm. Like, I have seen $2 extra in tithes An offering can change a family dynamic. I increased my tithes by faith, y'all, by $2. $2. And wound up with a whole real estate career, a successful top producing real estate career. So there ain't a thing that you can't tell me about faith and the level of belief that you have in self in partnership with God and his will for your life. I never once would have thought I would be a real estate agent. I was sowing $2 so I could move back to Charleston so my kid could go to daycare so I could stop working so hard. That's what my $2 was very misdirected. But God, like you said, Romans 8:28, for we know that all things work for the good.
Absolutely.
God was he was like, my child is so misguided and directed here, but I know what's best for her. And I know that she's willing to be obedient and she's willing to allow her faith in her works with me. She's showing me the work. She's giving this extra $2.
Right.
And then I just believe, Lord, I believe that you're going to take me back to Charleston. Like that story was a miracle story.
Right.
To get a military pick list that did not have Charleston on it. And then I hear from God one day sitting in a sermon in a church, and I heard so loudly this voice. It was like it was ringing in my head. And it was like, have him check the list now. Charleston's on the list. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like, no, whatever. I'm going to go through church. And it said, have him check the list. And so I just sent an email and said, hey, can you check the list? And literally he checks the list. After the list, we've already submitted the 10 cities we want to move to with the military. He goes back to check the list, and somehow miraculously, his submission wasn't completed. The check marks were all still there, and Charleston was number 1 on the list. Charleston was number 1. The list ain't in ABC order, but somehow Charleston became number 1 on the top list, which gave us an opportunity to pick it as number 1 and move another one. It's our top 1 in our top 10, and we literally get orders to move back.
And then you get it. However, God knew the plan he had for you because he knew what was going to come and that you were going to need to be in Charleston with like-minded people,
that part.
With family, because what was coming next for you.
Correct.
He was preparing you
the whole time.
And you were obedient enough to listen that one time or multiple times.
Yes.
With your tithing.
Yes.
With hearing to move and move now to get you ultimately.
Yeah, right here, full circle moment. And I had a part of that full circle moment in the heat of my divorce. When I started questioning, oh my God, am I really about to take on a whole household living off commission, real estate commission? Yeah. And the economy is doing whatever it wants to do at this point. And I just had to remember, Noah, back to the basics. You increased your tithe by $2 and watched how God moved in your life. Okay. He wouldn't have brought you here through all of this if this wasn't all a part of his plan and he wasn't going to get the good out of it. Right. Yes, some bad happened. You got divorced, and your family split up. But guess what? It was all for the good. Everything else turned out good. Yeah. It's beautiful. My life is better than it's ever been at that point, and I'm expecting more. Right. So guess what? I'm taking that same basic level of faith that I knew back then, like you said earlier. We didn't know what level of faith we needed to be at. We definitely weren't where we are today, but I know the basic things that got me there. And sowing a seed is one of those things that I truly believe in. Absolutely. That increases my faith. Absolutely. And I'm going to sow some seeds. So good. You're really good. Everything has consequences. Life is simple. We just make it hard. As is all the time. And it's lessons and blessings. That's it. So towards the blessings, what are you going to reap but blessings? That's it. So towards the lessons, I hope you got your learning and running shoes on, because Lord, I'm running, trying to make my passion. Because I have to agree with you. I've seen where I was at the back of the line and somehow I got to the front and everybody looking at me like, I said, ooh, baby ain't fair. I shouldn't say that. But humbly, absolutely. But it's just, honestly, it's the belief. And it's me living my life it's us living our life how we live it, trusting in God. I'm so serious. I don't make a move until God tells me. That's why I get up. That's why we get up at 5:30 in the morning. I need to know my instructions for the day. I know what the plan is for the day. So I don't make the wrong move out of your will, because your will is going to lead me to where I'm supposed to go. Absolutely. So, and that's honestly faith. Faith, I'm trusting in you, God. I'm partnering with you to strengthen me past what I could do by myself
to supernaturally go and do all the things that you have created me to do, because there's somebody out there that needs me to operate in my gifts that's going to bless them for them to do the next thing.
Correct.
And I always say that if we don't step into our calling or answer our calling and having faith in what we're called to do, then who misses their blessing? Who misses what they're supposed to do next? Because there's so many people attached to you.
Correct.
And we get so selfish in this moment and things that we get in. And I know there's situations that come up in life that try to knock us off of our feet, but you get back up on that horse.
Yes.
And you believe, partner with God and believe that you can do more and that you will do more so that you can carry out what you're supposed to do and that the next person will get what they're supposed to. Like, think about that one teacher that helped you get through whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like soared because that one teacher spoke something into you. What if they never became a teacher?
Right. Oh, speaking of, can I speak on this for a second? I don't even know if I ever brought this to your attention. Do you? So Aiden, previously, my daughter, just completed 5th grade, and I'm gonna go ahead and give her a shout out, and I'll have to tell her to watch this episode. Miss Witchow. Miss Witchow friended me on Facebook, and then me, her, and BJ got in a conversation. I think you joined in one of the comments too. That she was BJ's previous teacher, right?
I think so.
But let's look at how God works, okay? Miss Witchow was BJ's teacher the year your mom passed.
Oh, wow.
Miss Witchow was Aiden's teacher the year we got a divorce.
Oh, wow.
This woman, and she kept saying, Aiden has a special place in my heart. Aiden just has a special place in my heart. She gave grace and patience to my child like none other. Because children respond and react during divorce, right? And I mean, it's just natural that children are not that great with change. And my daughter specifically, as a former military brat, needs stability. She craves discipline and stability, right? And routine. And so the divorce came and upsided all of that, right?
Right.
And so of course she's acting out or whatever. You know, she's not bad, but you know, she's doing things that she wouldn't normally do. Exactly. And Miss Witchow reached out to me, and I was scared. Y'all, I was so scared to send this lady this email back because I didn't know what she was going to do for me being divorced and my child still being in the school.
Right.
But I know that God put us there in that school because that school had helped us so much with my daughter and her support system of being a military child, right? And I remember sitting with the email and I was like, I can't believe I'm about to type this out. But I have to partner with her. I need her help to help me get through this with my daughter, right? To see the other side of it. And I just emailed and I just poured out and I just asked her, I said, can you please offer her some grace and help us? Next thing you know, my daughter was in guidance. She was in grief counseling with the guidance counselor and the liaison at the school and they brought in another child that was going through divorce so that they could connect together and build stronger bonds. So that ended up being one of her good friends, right? And Miss Witchow also reached out to let me know that she was a product of divorce about the same age as my daughter. And so she knew how to relate, right? And then we find out that she's also the teacher that had to do with grief with my child's uncle and my siblings, you know? And it just, the full circle moment when I just appreciated being present enough to recognize all of this. And just like, shout out to Miss Witchow. You were a part of God's plan, and you may not even know that you were just a vessel and an angel along the path because you gave me enough faith to believe that my child would overcome this. And you gave her enough compassion and grace to help her overcome in one of the most difficult seasons of her life. And it's just to know that I literally took a leap of faith to send that email because I was scared. I was like, this is about to ruin everything for my daughter.
Right.
And I was like, no, I just have to believe. And literally when her response back was, oh, my parents got divorced around the same, I was like, then she'll understand.
She'll understand.
She will empathize differently with my kid. And
I love it.
It was just, it's beautiful. Like, it's such full circle moment. So yeah, when you mentioned the teacher, and God knows I have my own teachers along my path.
Right.
Everybody can name theirs off. But that one was just like a full circle to show you like all the loops and cycles, the lessons and the blessings that came from above. Because who knew?
Right. I wanted to add, as you say that, community.
That's what it was.
it's community, even not even knowing that community. But let me tell you community. Because remember the day you called me and said, I figured it out, Brittany, you got to change your name, right?
Yeah.
I was changing my name when you called me.
Right.
But the alignment,
right,
knowing what you heard from God, because you can hear him, you understand him. I heard from God. He aligned us.
Yeah.
I'm already in the place changing my name because that's where I needed to be.
Right.
And walk up to this lady who had been through divorce herself.
Absolutely.
And says, this is the paperwork that they say that you need. However, I just went to ask my boss and she said something completely different. Now, I know that's not what we do.
Right.
But we're going to do it because that's what they said.
Right. Yeah. Miraculous things happen.
Right? But the community in between, like just in that.
Yeah.
Just like, that's what I'm saying. Even just with you calling to, like, because I'm already like, okay,
yeah.
I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. But you calling and saying, I got it. I know what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Help confirm and affirm me and realize where I'm right, where I'm supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Sometimes that's what you need when your faith is wavering or when you can't see forward. God will align you with people and the right community to say, hey,
stand in the gap.
You on the right path.
Right.
I know it don't feel like it. I know it don't look like it. But however, I've been interceding for you.
Yeah.
And God spoke to me and I know you're on the right path. So
yeah,
I love it.
He'll literally send you the community that'll be able to stand in the gap for you. And where your faith withers and your faith becomes the size of a mustard seed, they can believe for you.
They got you.
They can pray and cover you and believe for you, with you. And just think about it. Last episode, if you didn't watch last episode, we talked about the parable of the lost coin, right? So the parable of the lost coin, the woman finds she has 9 coins. She's lost one, the 10th coin, and she keeps sweeping her house until she finds this coin. What does she do immediately after she finds the coin? She went and called her community and they all celebrated together. She asked them to join her in celebration. You have to get in the right environment because who and what you are anchored to, you guys are the power. You're the strength in numbers.
Yeah.
You are able to multiply what one could do. One can save 10,000. One can save 1,000 and 2 can save 10,000.
Is key.
And we have so much work to do within our Black and Brown communities because the strength and the numbers are there for one another. And we just have to be able to remove that level of competition and things that we have. Yeah. Because little do you know, if you listen to everybody's story, everybody just needs someone else in their corner to believe a little bit more in them.
That's it.
They're writing whole books about this. Who, not how. It's who believes a little bit more for you to open another door of opportunity for you to be more successful and to elevate.
Right.
It's the who's.
It is.
It's the people that you go into community with that can believe just a little bit far past your belief.
Yeah.
And they can believe with you and they can believe for you.
Yeah.
And that allows that increased faith and that supernatural faith, y'all.
Yeah.
You tapping into a whole nother world there.
Whole nother world.
And God moves in that world.
Very, very, very quickly. I've watched what interceding can do.
Absolutely. So if you feel stagnant and stuck and you feel like you've been in the same cycle and loop, sit down, listen to last episode, take a pause for the cause moment.
Yeah.
Get yourself together, do some reflection, do some self-care, discover self-love for yourself, and you will soon see where those opportunities where that faith could be strengthened. And that is going to allow you every little baby step that you take to strengthen your faith. That is the works. That is what you need to do in order to have a stronger relationship with God. But as I said earlier, in order to be saved and just be a child of God, there is no works but a confession with your mouth and your heart to believe. And then from there, God will order every other step after that. He will help you walk into this strong relationship with him. Yep. But you just have to humble yourself to receive it. And you got to let the faith and the works come together.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Believe and receive.
There you go. It's so simple, right? Like so simple.
So, no.
Thank you guys for listening.
This has been a dope episode. I'm glad that we really did it. I know it's going to tap on some people's toes and fingers. However, this is how we go throughout our life.
Encourage one another.
Right. And if you are needing some kind of intercessory prayer or anything, definitely get in the comments, email us, send us DMs. We're always willing to pray for you and to, shift some things in the spirit just by believing for you. Because at one point, we didn't always have this belief. Yeah. At one point, we didn't even have the strength. Like, we would call each other and be like, listen, I don't got it today. Yeah. I need somebody to step in. And that's what community is for. And that's why we're here. So definitely get in, DM us, email us. We're here. We are here to be a community for you guys.
Absolutely. And stay tuned because we're building out the structure for our community, our Redefining You community. But in the meantime, as Brittany said, be the CEO is how you can find her on social media. And then I'm Noelle Lawhorn, which is Show and Sell with Noelle. And you can email us at info@redefiningyou.org, or you can find us on the social media handle at Redefining You Pod. So thank you guys for listening to episode 8. Episode 9 is going to come and revolutionize you.